global market meltdown. Is that what is coming right now here at the end of 2021? Well, right now, times are a little scary. For anyone who went through the crash of 2008, 2009, you know how frightening a market collapse can be, how hard it is to make smart decisions, like what should you be investing in, what is gonna crash next, what are you gonna do? Well, right now, more and more factors are looking like that is what we're in for. And I'm gonna share them with you now. So what is it that's going on in the market? The good news is a lot of regular financial activity has increased since the lockdowns have been released in many countries around the world, which are allowing, the economy's kind of base foundations to grow, right? The regular stores are increasing traffic. People are spending money. More money is moving around the economy. So that is really, really good. The question is, will that be enough to catch the issues that are working on a more higher macroeconomic level? So there are a lot of factors playing in, and essentially right now we're playing chicken, right? What side blinks first? If these big, large factors crash before the market can get the foundations fixed, then we'll have a big crash. But if the economy keeps growing, if people keep transacting, if things keep going up, well, we might actually be in for a pretty good year. So there are factors pointing to both directions, but right now we have more factors pushing the market down rather than up. So let's look at a couple of them. Well, so the first one is obvious, right? The first one is COVID. That has been on us for the past, couple years now, and it is a constraint in the economy. Hopefully, we're going to start coming out of this. The Delta variant is frightening, so we'll see what happens, but stay safe, stay healthy, and hopefully that moves in the right direction. Now, another issue that has come out of this is trade. Global trade has been very limited because of shipping constraints, which have caused supply side constraints, which is hurting this opening up of the economy. For people building property in the UK, perfect example, they're getting materials is really, really hard. That's shooting up the cost of materials, which is shooting up costs on building, which is ruining margins on building and causing a lot of projects to stand still right now. And that is very, very scary because we need these projects moving. We need the economy rolling. We need people to have work. So it is a frightening time right now, and we'll see where we end up, but stick on it, right? Stay the true course. Now, something we haven't discussed here on the Momentum Property Education channel is the coming, or looming, I should say, energy crisis. It looks like we have an energy crisis on the horizon, and we're going to talk more about that in the coming weeks. So make sure, please, you subscribe to our channel here, because every week we give you these updates on what is going on in the economy, what can you expect, and what can you do to put yourself in a safe situation. In addition, every week we do interviews with some of the most top brilliant experts from all over the world in economy, business, investing, to make sure that you are as safe as possibly can be. And please also make sure you like this video, because what we've announcing here today is a partnership with Eden Reforestation Project. So for every like that you give one of our videos during October, we will be planting a tree. And that goes for the rest of the year and for the future. Every like on any of our YouTube videos, we will be planting a tree. So please help us plant trees, help more people learn about this by clicking that like button, all right? Thank you. So the big news now. So those 3 points that I just shared, COVID, the shipping crisis, global trade, and the looming energy crisis, that is small potatoes right now. The big crisis are the last 2 we're going to talk about here before we have one that is potentially frightening as well. So sadly, this is a kind of a tough video, but the United States of America is about 2 weeks away from running out of money. Yeah, about 2 weeks from running out of money. The problem is, in the last couple of years, the United States has been racking up a whole lot of debt, right? With COVID, with tax cuts, with all these things going on, the they have more debt than ever. And so the US always has a self-imposed borrowing limit, a debt ceiling. Now, since that was implemented, that has been raised 104 times in history. But right now, the government, the Congress, can't agree on raising that debt ceiling. And if they don't, based on what is coming in, 18th of October, the United States will default on its debt. They'll run out of money. So usually this kind of works out, and again, it's that chicken race, and it works out. We don't know, and unless they fix it, that would have a major impact on the market. So we'll see where that leads. Again, we'll be following this in the next coming weeks. So if you're not subscribed yet, make sure you do, so that we can keep you updated and let you know what you need to do to keep yourself safe. Now, big news as well. We've been following, you might have seen the last couple videos about the Evergrande scandal in China, China's largest property developer with debt of $305 billion. That's 2% of China's GDP, has defaulted on its debt and is in huge, huge issues. So they have announced multiple things they're doing. They have sold a 20% stake in a bank that they own, so they're selling off some of their subsidiaries. That raised $1.5 billion that they paid to one of their creditors. They're selling one of their property development subsidiaries, or they're selling 51%, the controlling share, for about $5 billion that will then be used to kind of catch up on this debt. So they're trying to catch up on the debt in the state of Beijing is pushing government-backed and state-backed companies to start buying up the Evergrande assets to try to save some of that company, let it go through restructuring. But the government has said is they're not going to go in and bail out Evergrande. What they're trying to do is ring in the issue and say we're going to help home buyers, make sure that they get a home. They're trying to get government-owned companies to buy different parts of Evergrande to get that overall debt back or down, and that way try to save not the company, but the people who have lent or invested money to the company. So that is what they're working on. So we'll see how that goes. And again, we'll be following that in the next couple of weeks. But those are the first kind of two big dominoes to fall there, is that they've sold two parts or two subsidiaries, two part ownerships to raise money quickly. And they're continuing to do this to try to get things off the ground and work things out. The last part I want to share here today, which is potentially frightening, and it's something we've talked about for probably about 12 months now, is the amount of money that's being printed around the world. Central banks have been pushing enormous amounts of money into the economy to save the economy. And we all know why. We are in the situation we're in. And about 12 months ago, we said, well, look, if they're going to print this much money, that is going to cause inflation. Now, it took a while. But so far this year, we've had a lot of inflation, but not as much as we expected. I thought we'd have more inflation by this point. But it looks like the central banks are now kind of starting to go, wait a sec, we might have printed too much. And that's the thing, though, is they couldn't print less. This is kind of the catch-22 they've been in. Had they printed less, had they done less support for the economy, then we would have been in worse shape on the other parts of the economy. And that's where we're seeing the foundations, right? They're starting to grow. All this support have kept people and businesses solvent, which are allowing them, now that lockdown is opening up, to get back into the economy and start transacting. So they needed to do this. I'm not saying that the central banks did wrong. I'm saying they needed to do this, but the amount of money they've been printing, that they're still printing, is starting to cause inflation, and they're starting to get worried now about runaway inflation. So we are in a tough position now as entrepreneurs, as investors. What do we do? Right? What do we do in a potential global crash? Right? We don't want to be holding currency because that is about to crash. That's what inflation is, right? Inflation means the price of goods goes up and the value of money goes down. So that is a big risk. But what do we want to be putting that money into? That's the hard question. Do we put it in property? Do we put it in stocks? Do we put it in commodities? Do we put it in cryptocurrencies? What do we do with the money? And that's what we're looking at right now for ourselves. I can't give you a crystal ball on this, because if we have a market crash, the stock market's going to fall, the property market's going to fall. In 2008, 2009, the gold market fell. So, all these, it's very hard to hedge if we have a big global collapse, all right? So the big question will be, where will the collapse be the smallest? That's what I would probably be looking at. Like, where is the loss going to be the smallest? Is it going to be on holding cash, even though we have runaway inflation, to come in and buy into the market? Is it going to be buying property or stocks, knowing that once the market turns, they're going to go up again? So that is a good safe bet. Or is it to buy gold or cryptocurrencies? And you know what? I don't have a crystal ball for you on this. What I'm doing is I'm doing all of it. All right, so I put money into cryptocurrencies. We're looking at, the potential for a run there to make some profit from it. We'll do those every time the market goes up. We'll be taking some profit. We'll be securing dollars in that, even though the dollar has risk, because that we have two separate assets there, right? We got the cryptocurrencies hopefully going up in value, and we have the dollars that we're getting an interest on. So hopefully that can combat the inflation. Now, if one of these drops, well, hopefully the other one drops less, and then we can move money between the two. The other side we got is, investing in companies, right? And there, for me, and this is not financial advice, none of this is financial advice, this is what I'm doing, is investing in very large, stable companies that will do well in a crash. For me, that's companies like, your Netflix, your Disney, your Amazon, your Apple, your Google, companies like that are positioned in a way that they can thrive in both markets. I think they will be able to do well. But again, you always got to make sure, the market might collapse. You might want to go in after, you might want to go in before. That will be up to you to analyze and think about based on what's going on in the economy. Again, I'll keep you updated here every single week. So if you're not subscribed, make sure you are. Please like the video. I want to plant trees, all right? And you could invest in property as well, right? You can invest in property, which is something I'm doing. I'm acquiring more and more property, but we're also making sure that we're structuring those deals in a way that if markets collapse, if prices go down, we don't get called and go bankrupt. We want to make sure we have that structure. So be smart about that. You can go to momentumgift.com, momentumgift.com if you want to learn more about property investing and how we're structuring deals. That's our introduction. It's completely free if you want to check that out. So these are kind of some of the different ones. You can go into commodities. Oil is going up in value right now. So is gold. Silver is a very touted investment. The question is, what will be happening going forward? So you might want to diversify over all these assets, right? You might want to get commodities, gold, silver, oil. You might want to get cryptocurrencies. You might want to get some property. You might want to get some stocks, and you might want to keep some in cash. Now, the question is, how much do you put in all of them? That'll be up to you, and work out your percentages. But we're going to work here on the channel. Make sure you are updated and got the latest information. I'm sorry this video is a little depressing. Hopefully I'll have more good news in the future. The good news is Evergrande is doing things to work out their problems. So that might be hopefully one of these big issues that can be checked off and said, all right, that one, we dodged that bullet. Sadly, there's a lot of bullets coming at us. So we'll see what happens. We'll keep up on it. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being a part of this community. Hope I see you soon.